Hey guys, welcome to the stream. running a few minutes behind today. Had a few things I needed to get taken care of real quick. So last week I was playing. Picked up a new game. Was playing Glitch. I picked up a new game. I was playing Sengoku Dynasty. Really fun game. If you guys enjoy like survival style games, this is a picture of the screen on Steam. But really fun game to play. I've been having a blast with it. I played it for the past 2 days when I've had free time. It's still going really well. Still haven't had a single crash. They did come out with a patch that was supposed to address the crashing issues for a couple of people that were still having some issues, but I haven't run into a single one yet. There's been one or two little oddities about the game that that have been a little strange, but they've been mostly very minor and things that were, that you can just get by quickly. Like I've had an issue 2 or 3 different times now where I try to use a tool, like an axe or a pick or something like that, and it just won't swing. Like the swing animation just breaks and it won't swing anymore. And you can just unequip it and re-equip it, and then it works fine. So I don't know what the deal is with that. It's definitely not intended to work that way. It's very broken when it happens, but I mean, you're mining a rock or cutting down a tree. It's not like you're in a situation where you're having to fight or survive or something like that, and it's not working. So I haven't had the issue happen with a weapon yet. So I mean, potentially, if it happens with a tool, in theory, it could happen with a weapon as well. But it's not happened while I've been using a weapon. The game definitely started getting a lot more interesting. It was hours, many hours after I finished playing on stream the other night, where I actually got to the point I got the achievement for finishing the tutorial. So the tutorial was easily like 8 hours of my gameplay. I mean, granted, I wasn't pushing hardcore pressing to get the game done or anything like that, but since I streamed the other day, I've broken 40.7 hours playing the game. It's very entertaining, like I said, but yeah, definitely has my seal of approval for playing so far. Haven't had any really bad issues with it or anything like that, and I mean, I've unlocked quite a few of the achievements so far, just kind of playing through. I'm probably not even halfway through the game still at this point, but I am taking it kind of slow intentionally because the game's fun. I don't want to speed run my first time through a game just for the sake of beating it, because it kind of defeats the purpose of buying a game and having a good time with it. But for like a $20 price tag, the game is amazing. But aside from that, tonight we're going to be doing Astroneer. So we've got the new DLC, and we're going to be checking that out tonight. I don't know anything about it yet. We're going in completely blind on it. I have played the game before, but it's been quite some time ago. I had to completely reinstall the game because when I first started streaming here just a couple of months ago, I had to do a complete reinstall on my system, and I hadn't actually reinstalled the game yet. So I got the game all installed, got the DLC installed for it, and so we're going to give this a try and see what happens. Try with windowed here, and this does all that being an option previously, so what's going on, Joe?
Same shit.
Same shit, huh?
Oh yeah. I had logged back in to resubscribe because Prime is shitty like that.
Yeah, the Prime subs are actually kind of lame. You have to, every 30 days you have to log back in, and if you're one of those people that gets into having the emojis and all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of them that are locked behind being a subscriber for X amount of time. Like I think for the first 6 months or so, you get one for each month that you're continuously subscribed, and then after that, you get badges and things like that that you can put up there. I just missed what that was. Is that you? Oh yeah, that was you subscribing back. Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
Sharing my resubscription to the channel, whatever.
Yeah, but I don't know if it showed you or not, but that's your 2-month streak that you're running. So for people that want to get access to to the emojis, and they want the because some of this stuff goes up for like years. I think the top one is like 4 years right now, and you can continue to add them as I continue to stream. It will continue to unlock more and more icons that we can add and change and do things with, but they don't give us like a 10-year subscriber when we've only been streaming for 2 months, because they're like, well, why waste the space? No guarantee that we'll still be here in 10 years, of course, but but yeah, so that's that's kind of the concept that it goes with. And yeah, for Prime, you can't just say, hey, I want to follow this person, let's just keep it here. Yeah, like you have to log in and do it every month. Super dumb. Hey Nell, welcome to the stream. About time you show up. So I guess what does this say about it? Anything? Is this just going to be this is just the store page. So yeah, I guess we're just starting up a new game here. Yeah, I'm not liking this windowed option that they've got me in here, so I need to see if I can.
Yeah, don't get fired now.
There we go.
Yeah.
Windowed full screen.
The hospital job comes first. It's fine. We get it. Found out something I didn't know today because I had to go rekey a Warhammer store, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And like, it's a store that only sells Warhammer products.
That's kind of interesting.
Apparently, the corporation that owns Warhammer has they don't think people are buying them enough, so they've opened up 200 locations nationwide for people to buy Warhammer products.
Yeah, that seems like a bit much. I mean, Warhammer stuff is okay, but I don't know. Is it Workshop? It's Games Workshop, I think, is the name of the company that does that. It's been a while. It's like Warhammer is the most expensive tabletop game that you could ever possibly get into. It's like they believe their stuff is literally made out of platinum or something like that. I have no idea what's going on with them there, but very expensive.
What I love is that I walk in the store and it's a guy, and he looks straight out of the 1800s with a one of those old-timey mustaches that he's curled up with wax in what looks like a 3-piece suit.
I mean, honestly, that I don't find that surprising.
From like the 1800s, and I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, I run this store. I'm like, I understand that. Like,
it's like, your response should have been, I believe you.
Right. What I love is that nerds all have a look.
Yeah.
And you can just tell right away that you motherfuckers are into some fun gaming shit. I mean, I'm not hating on the drip. I'm just saying it's always interesting to meet other nerds, geeks, what have you, because they always unique is a good way to
yeah unique. Yeah, I think that's a safe way to
How do you walk out of your house and someone doesn't just punch you in the face?
Yeah. Okay, so Glitchwalkers is on here.
So if I remember correctly, when I first caught you streaming a couple years ago, you were playing this game.
That's very possible. I played it a while back. I've gone back to it multiple times. The game is a lot of fun to play. I haven't played it in a while, so I'm having to kind of like get oriented with how to do things here. That
Yeah.
clearly was not the button I was looking for.
Well, I've just outed myself.
There we go.
Cards on the table. When Nell first said, you should raid lead, I stalked you a little bit, and I saw that you streamed.
Yeah, I tried it for a little bit at the beginning, or like back at that point, and I just didn't enjoy streaming quite as much then.
I get it.
Streaming from scratch is very annoying to do. Not having any sort of following going into streaming is like a really bad position to be in my opinion. So yeah,
Speaking of, we gotta bug our 10 friends to come and.
I've just come to the realization that we don't really have 10 friends. That was just a.
Okay. All right. Well, my excuse was I was living on someone's couch, and like it's really hard to be on someone's couch and like, oh hey, let me go for 3 hours and watch this guy stream stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know Sinner's been pretty busy. I don't know what's been going on with him just in general, but he's been pretty busy with work stuff. I finally saw him just recently playing some games, and then of course Bloody Shots is Bloody Shots. So I'm guessing did you happen to watch the 30th anniversary of Blizzard event that just happened, I guess today?
Nah, I don't really pay attention to shit like that.
Yeah. I really wasn't too interested in it myself. I wouldn't have watched it individually, but I just happened to be watching through some random Asmongold videos, and you know how that you kind of get into that black hole of something plays, and then it just keeps throwing up random videos on YouTube, and I'll let YouTube run in the background a lot of times while I'm messing around with stuff or whatever, and you can get some interesting things popping up on there. But yeah, there was a video of Asmongold that played, and they were talking about the 30th anniversary thing. Like I said, I think it actually happened today, and so they've announced all kinds of new stuff for WoW. They officially announced Mists of Pandaria. I don't think they gave a date on it. Why? What are you talking about? What's Sin doing? I fail to recognize the reference there. But yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and do Mists of Pandaria Classic, even though Classic is failing horrendously. They did officially announce the I guess the furtherment of SOD, that they are going to go ahead and do the Gates of Encourage, which will be soon, and they're actually going to do the war this time instead of screwing everybody over and just opening the gates day one, which was the dumbest thing I ever saw. So for those of us that actually wanted to experience this shit the first time around with the classic experience, we didn't get to see it, but then SOD is going to get it. And then they are going to go into Naxxramas beyond that, but they actually did officially announce that they're going to do 2 new instances that have never before been done. And I forget what the second one was, but it looks like the catacombs under Karazhan is going to happen. So that'll be interesting.
I see they're releasing Classic for the 50th time.
Yeah, that was the next thing that I was going to get into, is they've also officially announced that they're going to do another version of WoW Classic. It sounds minorly interesting. They did announce that they were going to do another WoW Classic, all fresh servers starting from scratch. They did say that it was going to be at least 3 weeks from launch before they were going to open the first raid zone though, so it's not going to be a race to 60. It's going to be like, hey, get in and play the game some, which is entertaining. They did say they were going to leave a lot of the things like the new and updated version for PvP, for the ranking system in PvP, that they were going to use that, and then they also said that they were going to do the I forget what the hell the thing was called because I didn't get to use it very much at all, but they use it in SOD now, the little chrono thing that you get that saves all your world buffs and stuff. They're going to be having that from day one, so that'll be interesting to see how that works. And as far as I can tell, it's supposed to be a fairly original adventure, so it's not going to be like an SOD style system. And they have already officially announced that they will be going into Burning Crusade with that. So
I was gonna say I just read that myself, and I'm like,
Yep.
Oh my gosh, PVC over again. Let's fucking go.
I mean, the sad part about it is if they were doing it as a plus concept, like if they were doing a classic plus, and they were going to add that, like the Karazhan Catacombs and whatever the other instance was that they were going to add for SOD, if they were going to do stuff like that and give us some new content, and then maybe, after Wrath, just go a different direction with the game and give us all of the things that SOD that has been successful over there as far as like flex rating and the concept of being able to do the raids with fewer people, just in general. Oh, I'm gonna end up dying here. Holy shit. But yeah, my first death is gonna be within just a few minutes of playing. I was over here trying to collect these things so I could start building some oxygen pylons, but I didn't make it far enough.
We've got a year, so winter,
Yep.
spring, winter 2025, spring 2026.
Yeah.
TBC Classic. That gives us a year to build a guild again and be like, yo, motherfuckers.
Yeah, if they're not given more than just the classic experience, I'm not playing it. Like that's not gonna happen.
You're not doing TBC over again? Like
No, not just a base version of it for shits and giggles. No, it's not worth it. Like I said, if they did all the stuff like flex rating and all that kind of stuff, and they outlawed GDKPs and that kind of stuff, I would probably consider doing it again just because I really enjoy that era. But yeah, why is this? Wait a minute. I'm missing the make tethers. Oh, that's what I'm missing.
Now, me, I feel like this is going to backfire because they're further fracturing their subscriber base.
Yeah, that's basically what it's going to turn into. So they're going to have classic, they're going to have classic, they're going to have retail, and they're going to have SOD. I mean, there's no guarantee, honestly, that they will have SOD. I mean, once they've done that, got that newer content out of the way, they may be done with SOD. They may not take it into Burning Crusade. Because, I mean, to be quite honest, I don't know what they could possibly do in Burning Crusade because of where they've given all these skills to people. Like, all these classes have so many skills from TBC and Wrath already that I don't really understand how they can, like, what would you give when you went into TBC? They would have to start making all new skills and stuff to keep it interesting. So I don't know what they would do at that point to actually. This is weird. I don't think I've ever started a game where there wasn't just a pretty reasonable access to compound right off of the bat. And without compound, you can't make tethers. Oh, here's some. Way the hell over here.
Maybe we get to TBC and people will be like, dude, change shit. And I'll be like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, who knows?
It's hashtag no changes. We're way past that now. Like,
Yeah. Oh, barely made it.
Well, I mean, like, if anything, the dismantling of our group proved that, like, people are only friends so long as you're in their proximity. The moment the guild ceased to be, they've scattered.
Oh yeah, I mean that's like I said. I mean there's a handful of people that we were already kind of, kind of chilling out with and doing things with that hung around and still actively do things. But yeah, I mean even the people that claim that they were diehard and they were like, oh my god, yeah, it's good, we'll still stay around and talk and blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean it's just there's no there's no true friendships out there. It's just it is what it is. I mean, when you're dealing with people online, like the moment that you're no longer relevant to what people are doing, they're just kind of done. But I mean, I've known that for a very long time, and that's always been the history of the internet in general, as far as I'm concerned.
That's why I had no loyalty to them. Like, oh no, they're our friends. We can't cut them. It's like,
yeah,
sure. I mean, you like supposedly that's what those MMOs are for, is to build friends along the way, but I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, it's probably one of those things where, I mean, if you think about it, the concept of friends would be, people that you regularly do things with and stuff like that. I mean, and if we were all still like playing games together or whatever, then yeah, I'm sure they probably would be friends. And it's like a lot of the people we hadn't really known that long. I mean, I don't even remember when, like for example, when Bloody Shots joined the group. But I mean, it was pretty deep into
maybe the very beginning of Ice Crown Citadel.
Was it? Yeah. So I mean, that just goes to show, it's like.
But we're talking like 6 months,
Yeah.
It was a long time.
Yeah. So I mean, when you're only having communications with somebody for, was it two days a week for 6 months, and then you don't really talk or do much outside of that, you're not playing other games together or whatever. It's like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, especially considering the fact that, his big thing was playing WoW, and, we just kind of walked away from WoW. So, it's not like, like we all started playing some other game together or something like that. So, I mean, I get it. I mean, it's fine, but.
What I've noticed about a lot of WoW players is that they don't really play video games; they just play WoW.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of where some of the problem comes in. And like, I don't even hold it against Bloody Shots. I mean, he still talks. Like, I mean, I still talk to him occasionally if I log into like the Blizzard the BattleNet app or something like that, because I'm loading up Diablo. I mean, if he's on, he'll bullshit for a little bit or something like that. But he doesn't really come hang out in the channel or anything. And I mean, and that's fine. That's it is what it is. It's not like he just hates people, but I mean, we don't share a whole lot of things in common. He's 100% about WoW and doesn't really do much else. And he's playing. He's running in 2 completely separate guilds. He raids like 2 or 3 nights a week on SOD, and then he's also raiding like 2 nights a week in Classic, assuming that he's still keeping that up. Last time I talked to him, he had, but
yeah, they're still because they're trying to get to Naxxramas. They're going strong.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear the majority of the stuff that I hear about that guild at this point is mostly coming from Matisti. Like how they're doing in general.
I was gonna say Strong is he's the GM, but most of the time it's the other dudes doing the work.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know anything about that part of it, honestly, and I'm not in the guild, so to me it doesn't really matter.
I mean, whatever works. I mean, like. You got people that are willing to actually do shit, go for it, man. Yeah,
I kind of have about the same concept when it comes to World of Warcraft as as Asmongold did. I think he said in his video today that he still likes playing WoW. He just doesn't like playing WoW with stupid people. And that's kind of the issue that I get into. It's like when you have simple mechanics and you have morons that are in your raid team that can't even do that. It's like, why are you here? Like, you can't even do the most basic of mechanics.
As I told you, people want to be led. They want their hands to be held.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the thing about modern WoW that a lot of players hate, is that there's just way too much shit going on way too fast for you to be like, hey, watch out, because by the time you say that, shit's already killing you.
Yeah.
This is where classic, like, wound up from a mile away. Here's the pitch. You still didn't move.
Yeah.
What?
This is kind of disappointing about this game so far. I literally just died due to a bug. The entirety of the rest of the time that I have played this game, I never ran into any bugs or anything like that playing. And then as soon as they add in the new expansion, I get caught in the wheels of a piece of debris and then die to it. Pretty sad.
Hey, raw, man. Yeah, I didn't mind playing MMOs, just time commitment. It's always what kills me. Like, I gotta be here for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually one of the things that like Asmongold was talking about, which I definitely kind of agree with, which is the concept of like, oh well, if I started playing WoW again, it's like I don't want the time commitment. I don't want the schedule. So, you know, I don't want to have to log in and raid every day, or you know, like every one of the raid days basically. I don't want it to be on a schedule. You know, like I'd rather it just be like, oh, I want to raid today, but I don't want to raid tomorrow. You know, or like I don't want to raid tomorrow. I'd rather just raid today because I've got free time today. But the problem that you have with doing that is all of the best gear comes from raiding. So I think the big thing that was really interesting about SOD was the fact that the raids were pretty small and you could do them in like half an hour. And to me, that was great. And I would be fine with them. Like, I really think the WoW raids just in general need to have fewer bosses, and they should, you should essentially just, like, that's all there should be. It should be fewer bosses, and the loot is just spread across fewer bosses, and then that way you're not having to, you know, just live in a raid zone. It's like back in the day, it was definitely fun to do that, but that's not really how people play games just as a whole anymore. I would be perfectly fine with doing that if I could find a group of people that would regularly do it, but just the concept of logging in and then being like, oh yeah, like 4 people decided they didn't want to show up today. It's like, really? It's like, just no one has any respect for anyone else's time, and it's like, I don't want to make that kind of commitment again in the future, and then, you know, having people that just don't have any respect for your time whatsoever.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Well, I'd much rather play a game that you could be like, all right, I got 30 minutes, let's play a couple games, and then
Yeah.
dip out. All right, we're good.
Yeah, exactly. It's just much easier to deal with.
I mean, that's why I've always been into first-person shooters in battle royales, is because it's like, all right, let's drop, let's kill some people. Takes like 20 minutes a match. You get a couple in, call it a day, or deathmatch. All right, we gotta kill 50 of these motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah.
Or you might case Hearthstone. A game usually takes like 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't mind the concept of sitting around long hours playing games. I mean, obviously that's, that's kind of the point of being a streamer, I guess, if game streaming is what you're doing. But my problem more with it is you just never know when something's going to come up that you would rather do. Like I went for 2 years basically without hardly ever seeing my family because the window that we could do stuff was during raid time. And it's like, well, either I go to raid and lead the raid for everyone, which was the commitment that I made, or I tell everybody I can't show up and then I go do something else. And
that's where you and me are a lot alike. Like, if I'm gonna make this commitment to these motherfuckers, I'm gonna make this commitment. I've canceled jobs because I've had to raid that night, but other motherfuckers like, oh, I don't feel like being here, I'm not coming.
Yeah, I mean, just the number of morons that you would get that were just like, oh, I don't, like that. I just don't feel like playing tonight, or I wanted to watch this TV show. It's like, dude, fucking record that shit. Watch it later on a streaming channel. Like whatever. It's like you made a fucking commitment to be here. Keep your commitments. If you can't do that, then why did you join a team? It's like just mind blowing how some people do. All right, so I got another set of tethers here, so I need to start heading underground and see if I can't find some metals and stuff and get off this planet.
When Napoleon Bonaparte, he said that people are only motivated by 2 things: fear and self-interest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty accurate, I think.
Yeah, it's a lesson that people keep forgetting.
Yeah. Not mean to drop 2 of those, but hey, whatever.
No, but I totally get it, bro. You don't want to join a guild or run a guild again. Totally get it.
Oh yeah, I definitely don't want to run one again. It's like that was an absolute nightmare.
That was 2 years of our lives corralling sheep.
Yeah.
In the end.
Herding cats is my definitely my preference on how to describe that that fiasco. It's like you had some people in there that were really good and really, put in some time and would help out and, kind of just always showed up, never missed and things like that, which was great. But then, you just had so many people that just didn't care. And it's like, if you don't care when we ask you if you can manage this sort of a commitment, you should say no and move on.
But the fact that it's so hard to get 25 people to all want to,
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, I think raid teams should be smaller. Like, I think they should seriously consider lowering raid teams to be like, 10 or 15 people in the game, just because it's easier to find 10 or 15 people that aren't worthless wastes of space.
Ooh, hey, Warford with the cell phone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Warframe is definitely one of those flakes. And sometimes I think it is people like that, that think that they really want to get into something, but then when it comes down to it, they really just don't have the time, and like, you know, like they really thought they could make the time, and, you know, thought they could make it work out, and then they just couldn't. I mean, that kind of shit happens too, but it doesn't make it any easier for the, you know, the 24 people that are remaining and trying to keep things going and trying to keep the thing from falling apart. But yeah, it's definitely a thing. Let's see, is this thing gonna be like, okay, it's actually smooth enough to walk up now. It's like last time that I came down this thing, I just slid down it because it was too much of an incline.
Yeah, budget. Get 10 people to actually show up and do stuff. Awesome stuff.
I mean, like getting 10 people, or just designing their game so that it doesn't take so many people to raid, or so that doesn't take so long to raid. Because I think most people that really get into gaming, I mean, they could easily play for an hour or two on any given day. But you know, you just have too many people that are too wrapped up in the concept of like, oh, I got this life and I got all these things I got to do. I can't commit to playing, you know, 4 days a week at 45 minutes a day or something like that. You know, they're like, they need to come up with a different system, because people don't necessarily play the games the same way that they used to play. Not everyone anyways.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I never raided in back in the day, because I didn't have. Because like back then, guilds would be like, you better have like 6 to 9 hours of your life, because we're not stopping until this boss is dead.
Yeah, exactly. And the other problem that you run into as well is people just aren't as good at games as they used to be. I mean, like, people are bad, really, really bad at games these days. Like, they just don't care.
Well, some of the hardest games you could ever play were Nintendo and Super Nintendo era, where you would literally die 1,000 times before you got it right.
Yeah.
There was no easy, hard. No, it was just hard, and either you got it or you didn't.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like the early days on NES playing the old school like Contra game, and it's like when people figured out the Konami code so that you could get 30 lives, so that it was more likely that you would actually beat the game, was just nuts. You know, it's like that was kind of what made or broke your ability to actually get in there and play that game. But you played it so much because there were so few games that were out at the time that, you know, you eventually got good at it. And I mean, I remember at one point, I think my record playing through the game on NES was around 30 complete clears of the game on a single health, or like a single life. Like, I would just sit there because the game would reset, you know, like once you beat the final stage, it would just start you over at the first stage again, and you just started up and started running again. So, you know, at some point in history, I played the game and I couldn't beat it with even 30 lives, but then I could go through with 1 life and beat the game 30 times. I probably could have kept going, because at that point I knew the game so well. It's like, unless I was just being absolutely stupid about something, who knows how many times I could have went through it. I think I just went through it that many times to kind of like prove a point of like, yeah, you know, like this isn't the game that it used to be. You know, it's like you just know it too well at that point.
But we went from dying 1,000 times to learn how to do the stuff too. Oh my god, we wiped twice, and I didn't do any research. This sucks. Let's just put it on easy mode.
Yeah, like that was always the problem with playing WoW, was no one wanted to put in even in the slightest amount of research into what they were doing. Like, you had too many people that got into playing it, and you know, they're used to the easy mode in you know, in retail. It's like everything about retail is such a joke unless you're doing the absolute hardest difficulty stuff, and then that stuff is really insanely difficult. But almost no one does, you know, almost no one plays at that level. so it's really hard to find a group of people that would play at the level, you know, that you needed to play to do the stuff people were wanting to do. The other problem as well is oh yeah, I did finally beat the original Castlevania. There were many controllers broken in that progress, and probably a system or two. And yeah, I beat Metroid as well, the original Metroid.
But that was how you game back in the day. You just lost 1,000 times until you got it right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I really beat the game. I think I just wore it out. It's like, clearly you're not going to go away. Here you go. Here's the win. Fuck off. That's what happened. But yeah, I mean, back in the day, those games were really, really hard. I remember it was like I think it was the second or third stage on Castlevania. Warfren had come over to my house, and we would just sit there and play that stage over and over and over, and it was just like a series of moving platforms that would kind of like move back and forth that you had to jump on, and there were these like mermen that would pop up out of the water that would jump up, and if you got hit by them or bats or anything, it would just sling you off the thing. And yeah, the jump was horrendous in the game. It was really poorly designed, but but yeah, I mean, that was just kind of like, I just realized that I'm out of tethers. I can't really go any further. I need to get some more. But yeah, I mean, it was, you know, that's just the way the games were played back then. But at like that one stage, I mean, we would just sit there and play it over and over and over. And, you know, I would sit there and play through like, you know, I think you got 3 lives on a continue, and I would just sit there and play and play and play, and then, you know, and then he would get the controller and play a couple of times, then I would get it back and play a bunch more, and it was just like non-fucking stop, and we just never could get past that. It took forever to get to a point to where we could, you know, either one of us could get past that in that game. I mean, we're talking probably weeks or months of playing one particular part of a stage over and over and over. Yeah.
Like that's just how games are played, and nowadays if someone dies twice in a game, you know, they write a bad review like, oh my god, this game was so hard.
Well, I mean, it's actually really funny because I'm planning on doing a video about this on I wrote the script up for it the other day, and I just need to record it, but it's a script kind of involving the, you know, like where DEI is in games and stuff like that right now, and in movies and everything else, and, you know, kind of like my opinion on how it all got started. And I don't think a lot of it really has to do with the fact that people wanted more inclusion or this, that, and the other. I mean, like, many streamers have pointed this out many times. These big companies, they don't care about the individual problems. They don't care about inclusivity. They don't care about anything else. They care only about money. That is all they are concerned with. I mean, and that's a pretty known fact for most people, which is why I think it's funny when people get into arguments about DEI and stuff in a Disney movie or in a video game or whatever. It's like, that company doesn't give a shit. They weren't doing it to help out either side. They don't care. In my opinion of what they're looking at is they have like, oh, we have X amount of people that are playing our game. How do we get more people to play our game? Oh, well, let's do a poll. Oh, there's a lot of gay people that don't play our game, so we should start including gay characters in our game because that'll make them be more interested in playing. And they just, like, these companies are so stupid that they think that they can please every person on the planet, and that the fact that they have hit a certain number of players, they don't seem to understand that that's just the limit of the game that they have. They seem to think that just by adding this one thing or altering this one thing, they're going to keep all the people that they had, and then they're going to add this whole new collection of people. They don't seem to understand that by changing even the smallest elements of a game, you're going to just end up alienating someone else. And so that's not the answer to the problem. You cannot please all of the people all of the time. And and I don't believe there is a real answer for this. I think the only real answer that you could get out of this is that people like these companies, they just need to start realizing that when you make a game, you're making this game for X amount of people. If you want to make a game that's, that, for example, it's like for women, that you want women to be interested in, you need to understand that the amount of women that play video games is probably, I mean, I'm pulling this number out of my ass, but it's going to be small. I mean, we're going to say 20% of the population that are playing video games are females playing video games. So if you make a video game that you want to be for women, you just need to understand that it's only going to make about 20% of the money that the previous game made, because that's how many people are going to be interested in buying it. Maybe you'll get some guys that are interested in buying it, but most of the ones that don't buy it, it's not because they're sexist or anything else. It's simply just because they don't identify with it. They're not interested in the story. Things that women find interesting, men don't find interesting. That has been the history of the world, as far as I can tell. It has definitely been the history of since I have been alive. How many times have you had a girlfriend or a your mom or somebody that wanted to go see a movie and they wanted you to go with them, but the movie was absolutely nothing that you would ever go see? And hey, maybe you took one for the team and you went and saw it because you wanted to get laid that night or whatever. But I mean, at the end of the day, you went to go see the movie because you were trying to be nice, not because it was something that you wanted to do, or not because it's something that you would have went to see on your own. So when you're playing something like a video game, that's a much more personal experience. I mean, a video game is a thing that you play for many, many hours in most cases. It's not something that you just go and sit through, an hour or 2 hours of, and then you just move on. It's something that you do for months, or, for some people, years. So, you want to really identify with that thing that you're doing, with the thing you're spending your time on. And you're not going to get into something that that doesn't mesh with your personality, that's not a story that speaks to you or gameplay that speaks to you or something like that. You're just not going to play that. And so that, like, these game companies need to understand that, hey, you want to make games for girls? That's great. I think it's amazing. I think it's a good thing. I think it would be awesome if there were more girls that played video games. And maybe someday down the road, the types of games that girls like and the types of games that guys like will start to intersect more. But that doesn't happen today. You don't just create a game today and go, everyone on the planet will love this game. It's not possible. It's not going to happen.
Well, it's funny because a lot of women do play video games, but they don't play. They play mobile, like.
Well, you've heard my take on that. Mobile games are not games. If I refer to games, it is never something that is on a mobile platform. It is never something that is the only place that it exists. I mean, you might take into consideration like Minecraft or something like that. Yeah, sure, you can play it on mobile, but if you've ever played that game on mobile, it's ass. Unless you're hooking up a controller to it where you can play it more similar to a console or something, it's ass to play. It's not a mobile game. Just because you can load it up on mobile and move around, you're not really playing.
And as far as an entire genre that they made for movies for women, that men take it for the team, is the romantic comedy.
I mean, some people like the romantic comedies because they've gotten, like, they've figured out enough about the formula for romantic comedies that guys actually like them. I mean, I really like romantic comedies. Like, I will go and watch a romantic comedy by myself. I have no problems with doing that if it's good. But I mean, early like rom-coms, that was nothing that I got into. I didn't get into that kind of stuff. It's like, it just wasn't for me. But it's one of those things where they took a concept and they kept tweaking the formula until they came out with something that people liked and people could identify with. And I think they've made it there, and they probably have more direction to continue going, that more ways that they could tweak it and make it better. This place is horrendous for compound. Like, I cannot find anywhere. It's like it's really stifling making progress here, because I can't make more of these tethers without it.
Since you've opened this door, which one is the better Tom Hanks? Sleepless in Seattle or You've Got Mail?
I really liked You've Got Mail. I actually own it on DVD. I've watched it many times. I've never actually seen Sleepless in Seattle. It's not because something turned me off about it or anything like that. It just wasn't. It just wasn't something that interested me at the time.
Okay.
And Sleepless in Seattle, did that come first? I'm wanting to think that that came out before You've Got Mail.
I believe they came out within a year of each other. Sleepless in Seattle did come out first, and then You've Got Mail came out second. But it's very interesting because it's you know, both rom-coms have Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, and they've been compared to each other for decades. So it's always
I've actually meant to go and watch the movie because I mean it's got a lot of there's a lot of things out there in the industry where people reference that movie all the time. Oh, here's some compound filing. Like normally it's just littering the ground like this everywhere, but yeah, like you know, I have nothing against you know, those kinds of movies in general. Like for me, You've Got Mail is almost like a Christmas movie. I mean,
No, I take it back. Sleepless in Seattle came out in 1993, and You've Got Mail came out in 1999.
Okay, so they're 6 years apart. So yeah.
Yeah, but the
I mean,
fact
and that may possibly have been kind of like the gap for me where Sleepless in Seattle was an early rom-com that I just didn't get into, and then You've Got Mail was, you know, one of the early ones that I actually enjoyed.
But it's just an interesting aspect that it's Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan in two separate romantic comedies.
Yeah, and then they never hooked up. What's up with that?
but they are very similar in their plot points.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. I mean, I love Tom Hanks and everything he does. So
yeah. Well, I mean, and that was kind of going to be my argument as well. Is just like you get into so many different actors that like you're interested in the actor.
Nell, The Proposal, really?
The Proposal is amazing. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time right now.
Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds can do no wrong.
Wasn't it about like she's gonna get deported, so she's got to get married or something?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also had Betty White in it, but
like the immortal Betty White, God rest her soul.
yeah. But yeah, I'm not sure if there's a Ryan Reynolds movie that's out there that I haven't seen.
He caused the debate recently. Okay, what movie isn't lame, Mr. Warfarin?
Well, sorry guys, Warfarin's a little lowbrow. He doesn't get the complexities of rom-coms.
I mean, I could talk about movies all day. Like, you pick a topic or a movie, we can discuss it. Okay, Dune, right?
I don't know what I think about getting into another series.
So, do you like the original movie or the remake? Is the first question.
It's actually really amusing how people get into that sort of stuff. Because like Warfarin was always really big into just everything Dune. I never read the book, and I haven't seen the first, like the original movie, but I have gone to see the two new ones so far, and they're just kind of meh. I mean, like.
So the book is an interesting read because once you understand the history of it, it started as a serialization for Science Fiction magazine. So it didn't come out as a whole book. It came out in like sections for a magazine every month.
Mm.
So once you take that into account, like it reads a little bit better. But yeah, Frank Herbert, like genius, dude, way ahead of his time. The book is a bit dry, but it's a good read once you get into it, I would say.
Yeah.
It is one of those epic books, though. I think it's like close to 1,000 pages. Like,
Yeah, no, it's a bigger book. I think most of the books that we got into in our younger era were big books. I definitely remember. I know Dune was a big book. We used to read a lot of Stephen King novels as well. Christine, The Last Stand, It. I mean, those were all like 1,000+ page books.
Stephen King is just freaking ridiculously good.
Yeah, he had a lot of really good stuff.
I love he even had a bet with his fans. He's like, look, if I ever repeat an idea for a book I have, I'm retiring. But speaking of though, I don't know if you heard the sad news, but George R. Martin basically said he's not finishing Game of Thrones.
Oh, that's interesting.
His reasoning is because HBO fucked it. Apparently, when they decided to continue on, because like he wrote up to season like 5 or whatever when Jon Snow died.
Yeah.
And then he gave them the ideas of what the next books were going to be.
Mm.
But like by season 8, they just said, "Fuck your script. We're gonna do our own thing," which pissed him the fuck off.
Oh yeah, that's not surprising.
So now he doesn't want to finish the book series because he's like, "Fuck it. I don't want to deal with." He doesn't want to deal with his writing being compared to the HBO series.
Yeah, that seems a bit excessive, but
People are like, dude, just hire a ghostwriter, finish the damn series, call it a day. like, don't just leave your fans hanging. It's like that's just stupid. Yeah, you can blame HBO. They're the ones who did it. Or he's just really bad about submitting work on time. Either way.
Oh. It's interesting. I just did a quick Google search on it. I'm not actually seeing anything where he's talking about not finishing it, but
he talked about it in a Q&A for one of those Comic-Cons.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I still think that would have made some pretty big headlines, though, that would have been the case, but the only thing that I'm seeing about him not finishing it is people just thinking that he never will because it takes him, a million years to write something. That's one of those things that you get into, I think he's kind of the culprit of something that I always thought that I always wondered what my opinion about it would be, moving forward, which is the concept of once you start making an astronomical amount of money that, an amount of money that you will never spend in the remainder of your life, it's like, do you really feel like continuing to do the work that you've been doing, regardless of how complete or incomplete it might be? That, maybe you just kind of, yeah. So it's like, and I've kind of wondered about that myself, because I live a fairly meager, living. Like, I don't really care too much about, grand vacations and, having, having large amounts of stuff. I mean, I could be pretty happy on the Asmongold life plan. You know, just kind of chilling and playing games for the rest of my life. I'm perfectly fine with that. But this, you know, the concept of like working on this this game that I'm developing and, you know, going forward with that, I've kind of wondered if I actually made the game and it was a big success, you know, something like you know, Pal World kind of success where you just, you know, you wake up one morning and there's, you know, $30 million in your bank account. It's like, I would definitely finish the game that I'm working on, but the concept of continuing to make games, it's like, would I keep doing that, or would I just say, hey, I made the game, we got $30 million, I'll never spend that in the rest of my life, I'm done. You know, it's like, what would that happen to me? And you know, it's like I'm pretty passionate about working with game development and actually trying to develop games that I think people would enjoy, and trying to give people you know, kind of something to see that they haven't seen before in games, or things that you haven't seen for a long time because of how people go about developing games these days. They don't make games the same way that they used to, and the way that games used to be made are what made myself and a lot of the other people that I know get really into gaming. You know, it's like, and I think that the way that games used to be made would work perfectly fine today. I don't think it's like oh, that's so outdated that no one would get into it anymore. I just think that, you know, like, people have gotten too wrapped into like, oh, AAA games are all about the, you know, like this random story that they're trying to tell, and the like these big cinematics. And I mean, like, even when you go to Steam and try to like watch a game, like a new game's coming out and you're like, oh, what does this game look like, and you like, they have an intro for it and you watch a 20-minute intro and every single bit of it is a movie. It's not actually a game. It's like, how does this game play? It's like, what is, like like the video that I'm watching here has nothing to do with what I'm going to be doing when I actually boot up this game and start playing it. It's like, that's what I want to see. And I think it's because most of these companies know that at the end of the day, they don't actually have a good game. They just have a good idea. You know, so I really want to see the good ideas turned into good games, and have games that have fun and engaging mechanics and things like that in them, and, you know, and actually make people have to think, you know, when they're playing their games, and, you know, and trying to come up with that interesting concept of how do you make a game that requires you to think, but that pulls the internet out of the loop, so you can't just go and look the shit up. Because that makes people not have to think anymore. You don't have to think to play a game. If it's like, oh, how do I do this? Oh, well, Google can tell me. So, you know, trying to figure out ways to be creative about how to make something work in a situation where people can't just go look up the answer. And, you know, and a lot of the time it's a lot more difficult than you would think it would be. Like making random cases where, you know, it's like, oh, you've got this quest, but, you know, you would have to make an insane amount of the same quest. It's like, oh, well, we want to do the quest to, you know, to help the king so that, you know, we can progress the storyline some more. So what do we do to help the king? And it's like, well, you know, most games are, you know, like I was playing one of the early Final Fantasies, and the quest was like, oh yeah, you know, you need to go and kill this dude that stole the crown and take the crown back to the king, and then he's forever happy, and he uses his kingdom to build a bridge that lets you move deeper into the game. Like, well, but that's really easy to just go look up the answer to that. Like, oh, well, where do I go? Where's the bad guy at that I killed to get the crown? Oh, he's in this cave at this location. Just go in there and do it. And it's like, so the
discovery proved it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's like, and that was the thing, is Season of Discovery was amazing for like 3 days. Because they had all of these skills in the game. They were spread out all over the place. You had no idea how to get them. You were running around frantically trying to figure it out, and every bit of that was phenomenal. And then 3 days later, Wowhead comes out with their guide. Here's how you get every single skill in the game. And instantly, I was done. I was like, this is not fun anymore. This isn't entertaining. It's not new. There is no discovery left. It's like, stop intentionally trying to break the game.
I don't know if you remember, but before the internet, we had those guidebooks that would come out.
Oh yeah, I never used them.
But that would be like months later. That would be like, hey, we're half a year in.
Yeah. I Oh yeah, yeah. You actually missed it, Warframe. I felt bad because you disappeared that night. But I had like you had come into the channel and started talking, and then I mean, I don't think Phantasy Star was reasonable to play without. I mean, the guidebooks that he's talking about were the ones you bought separately with the game. The guidebook for Phantasy Star 2 came with it. I mean, there was no option to get it without it.
Yeah, like Nell was talking about, like you're playing a Legend of Zelda game and you have no idea what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there is no internet to tell you what to do.
Yeah, like the guidebook for Phantasy Star 2 was literally shrink wrapped to the box when you bought it.
It's like they knew, like, you're never gonna figure this shit out without this. So here you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and the only reason that I had the guidebook originally was because Mark, the guy that owned Video Supreme, which was the big, video rental store that I used to go to all the time. He was a big gamer, so he was one of the few video stores that actually rented video games in the early days. And because I knew him, he gave me that guide when I rented it to play the game. He gave me the guide because he's like, I'm not going to give this to he's like, I'm not going to put this in a box and rent it because somebody would just steal it. So he's like, I'll just give it to you. And so that's how I got the original guide that I got. It was the one that came with the game that I rented. That was one of those things, like video games were really weird back then too. That just made me think of this other event. Sorry for those of you that are actually watching the game here. We're about to do a short commercial break, which is why I'm hanging out in the entry area here instead of continuing to explore. But I wanted to get this conversation first before I switch to the commercial. But the big thing that I remember back in that era too is games were released in sections at a time on like the old 8-bit Nintendo and stuff. So they actually released games in parts of the country, but they weren't available in other parts of the country. So people in California would get games, days, weeks, or sometimes even months before people on the East Coast would get them, and it just depended on who the distributor was, who the developer for the game was, and all this kind of stuff. And one of the things that I always thought was really interesting was Mark was so big into games and trying to just keep things on this side, of the world a little bit better. I don't remember if he special ordered it from somewhere or if he actually flew out to California, but he went out to California or got someone that he knew from California to pick up a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2 on the 8-bit Nintendo and ship it to him. I was one of the first people on the eastern side of the country to ever play Super Mario Brothers 2 because he got it weeks before you could buy it anywhere in this area, and I was the first person that he rented the game to. So I actually got to play that super early. Unfortunately, I didn't think it was that great of a game, but it was all right as far as games went. But there were a lot of things that I ended up getting to play like that. Some of the Mega Man series I got to play early just because I knew him, and I was easily his biggest spender when it came to the gaming industry, because he also would sell things there. So I mean, he was. He would sell consoles and controllers and stuff like that as well. And, so the ridiculous number of controllers that I would break, getting pissed off at games when I was young, or consoles that I destroyed, that's generally where I would go to replace them. So I would go and buy them from his store. So yeah, he loved me. He thought I was the greatest thing ever. Or maybe I should say he loved my grandmother because she was the one that was paying for everything. But but yeah, but the other thing that I was going to say, Warframe, is when you came into the channel, I guess it was early last week maybe, and you were in here talking. I was playing oh shit, I don't even remember what it was I had started up playing. But you came in and talked, and then you disappeared, and another guy came in, and we started talking about Asheron's Call. He was talking about playing that, and we probably talked about Asheron's Call for like an hour, and you never came back. but that was kind of a cool trip down memory lane. I couldn't remember a lot of stuff about Asheron's Call because you played it a lot more than I did, and there were things like I couldn't remember what the cave was that we used to run through and kill those, like, whatever those, like, bug looking creatures. I kept wanting to call it the Amuli caves, but that was the name of the armor, so I can't remember what the place was actually called. Ulthoi, that was it, the Ulthoi caves. Yeah, no, I did not tell him that. I actually didn't even think about that until you just said that. That's funny. I can't remember what the deal was with that, because like I said, I didn't really play the game that much. Was it the fact that the game, like, did the game not save the fact that it had traded to me? Like, was the save somehow local or something? Or did you drop stuff when you die, or what was the deal with that? Yeah, I think you found the weapon. Yeah, I was gonna say, oh, you dropped valuable items when you died. Yeah, so yeah, that makes sense. So that's what happened with it. Yeah, that's pretty crazy though. That was back in dial-up internet days. I was definitely playing that game on dial-up.
Yeah, back in '99, man. Like, people
this
didn't
was...
have high-speed internet.
Well, no, I guess this was after '99, because that game came out after EverQuest did, and EverQuest came out in '99. So yeah, probably somewhere around 2002, maybe. Yeah, I seem to kind of I kind of seem to recall that. But the other thing that I did, Warframe, that you ended up missing out on as well is they lifted the NDA on Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and I actually streamed that a couple of days ago as well. You missed out on that one. But it was that was the thing that I ended up streaming after my last day of Once Human, because Once Human I just got to the point where I couldn't deal with the game anymore. It was just like so many bugs and problems that the game had, and I was like, I'm done with this. Pantheon, I'm really back and forth about it. The issue that I have with it is the fact that they've changed the graphic style. So after shit, what was the guy's name? Okay, Jeff, take it easy. Well, what was the guy's name that ran it? Why am I blanking? Yeah. So when Brad McQuaid died, and he was no longer part of the project, I guess at the end of the day, he was probably a lot of the reason that people were putting so much money into the game and actually doing investments and stuff. And then when he passed away, and then they kind of shut down development of the game for a little while. I mean, it was probably like 6 months that they didn't really do much of anything, and they started losing some of their developers, because a lot of them were kind of living off of peanuts anyways. And, because if you think about it, I mean, if 200 people all donate $1,000 to be in the pre-alpha for the thing, that's 200 grand. But if you have 10 engineers working on it, I mean, the engineers make easily $100,000 a year. So they've been working on this for years. They have no publisher, so they have no money incoming out aside from what people are donating to them. So a lot of their engineers are part-timers, they'll work on it a couple hours a week or something like that, doing stuff. A lot of their artists, and so it's getting patched together. But because of the graphics engine that they were using, it really had that feel of EverQuest from back in the old day, but completely updated graphics. But it looked so similar to it, which one of the cool things is, since they lifted the NDA, I got the confirmation. I can actually show some video and stuff like that on the game from before they changed the graphics engine. So I'm going to do a before and after comparison the next time that I stream it, which will be sometime in December, because they're doing the official launch into early access. So they've completely changed how they're doing the development of the game. Brad's big thing was, we're doing a traditional, kind of friends and family pre-alpha, which is what I was part of, which you had to buy into, and it was a pretty hefty price tag. And then they were going to do a standard alpha, which they had actually officially entered before he passed away. But he said that he expected the alpha to last probably 4 years or more, and then that they would have the beta after that, which could last 4 to 6 additional years, because that's just the amount of time that it takes to create a world and completely flesh out a game of that size. He said it was very similar to the timestamp that they did for the original EverQuest. Yeah, I mean, it's actual alphas. It's not what people think of when they think of alphas today, where it's like, oh, the game's gone gold and it's coming out in 3 weeks, and they're doing an alpha so we can all get on and play it and play this one stage. It's like, that's not an alpha, that's a stress test. I mean, like when we were playing the game, the first time I logged into the game, there were 2 zones. They had the base zone that you started the game in, where they had some creatures that you could fight. It had like 5 or 6 different creatures in it, and then they had Thronefast, which was the city that was connected to that zone. Thronefast was all completely gray box still. They most of the buildings were just giant boxes. They had no detail to them whatsoever. And I mean, so we were playing this really, really, really early. And and so it takes a long time to go through and etch out all of these graphics. And that was the cool thing about doing each of the alpha phases, because they only allowed you to log in for like a day, sometimes maybe 3 days, every month or 2. So I mean, because they didn't want you just going in and being like, oh, this is exactly what the game looked like the last time I did it. So they essentially would make you wait until they could add something new to the game, so that when you came in, you were actually testing and looking for bugs. Like, that's what people were. They were testers. I mean, that's what they brought us in for. We had very focused windows where it's like, hey, this is what we're testing this week. This is the zone that you're allowed to go into. This is the level cap. These are the classes we want you to play. I mean, they had like 3 classes available. You had the monk. You had the I forget what he was called, but it was basically the Shadow Knight. It was called a Pain something or other. I forget the name of it. And then you had the healer. You had the shaman class. Those were the only 3 classes in the game. You only had 1 race you could play. Everyone was human. None of the other races existed yet. So, I mean, it's like there was nothing in there. And it was taking them a long time to come out with new content for it, because they had so few people working on the project, and all of them were they were all working on the project, and they were doing it part-time. So a couple hours a week, couple hours a day here and there. It wasn't their full-time job. And so after Brad passed away, they all had a big meeting on what they were going to do about the future of the game. All of the people that were still there wanted to complete the game still, and they really wanted to kind of see the vision go. But they admitted that the graphics engine and stuff that they were using, it was just taking way too much time. I mean, even at this point, they still only have like 4 zones going for the whole game. 4, maybe 5. I think they added a 5th zone. But I mean, when you think about, I think EverQuest originally shipped with like 30-something zones in it. So that's just something to think about. But they decided to change the graphics engine, and they've gone with a more stylized graphics. It's very similar to what you would expect out of like World of Warcraft, if World of Warcraft had been designed a couple of years later. So when you ask how it feels, after I got over the shock of dealing with the new graphics, because this was the first time that I had played the game since they changed the graphics engine, and one of the reasons that they still don't have a lot of new zones is because they had to go back and rebuild all the zones they had already made in the new graphics engine. But they kind of they did a video at one point that showed how much faster they could create content with this new graphics style. and it was significantly faster. I mean, it went from, you know, a couple of months for making a zone down to you know, a few days, like insanely fast. But it's because you lost insane amounts of detail. The game is nowhere near as detailed and as nice looking as it used to look. So I think that's going to be a really big kind of drawback for a lot of people that were really interested in the original EverQuest, because that's one of the things that I thought about the original EverQuest is, even for the time, it was the most realistic looking game. You know, like they really tried to go for realism in the direction that they were going with that game. You know, compared to, you know, like switching over to World of Warcraft, where everything was just cartoony graphics. And so that was one of the things that I was really looking forward to getting back to with a new EverQuest style game, was that more realism look for the graphics, and they're not doing it anymore. So the game feels like EverQuest when you play it. The sounds are still there. You would have loved it. Within like 15 minutes of starting the video, I died to a rat. It was phenomenal. I was like, yep, it's EverQuest. but yeah, I mean, it was, you know, like it feels like EverQuest. It just doesn't look like it. So you'll have to give me your opinion on it. I'll definitely have it on the schedule in the future for what, you know, how I'm going to have it looking, or not have it looking, but I'll have it on the schedule for when I'm going to play it next. It'll be sometime in December. So they're moving the system over into an early access, where people can buy into it at a much lower price and then get in there and play and goof around with it. They've opened it up now to where it's all-time access. They're doing a player wipe when that event happens, which is why I didn't want to fool with playing it now, and then, you know, just in 3 weeks time the character would get wiped and I'd have to start over. So once they do the player wipe, I'll pick it back up and play it. And if it ends up being something that you really want to check out or play, because of them changing the system, where Nell and I bought into the game really early, we're getting all kinds of codes for the game to be able to give to people to just give them essentially the early access account, so you can log in and just play at will. So whenever they get those codes out to us, if you end up seeing that video and really like it and want to kind of try it out, then I'll get you a code for it and you can kind of goof around with it and play it. But I'm gonna drop us into some commercials here really quick. It's been like I'm probably like 20 minutes, or actually 30 minutes past people getting pre-roll ads. So I'm gonna do this real quick and hit the restroom and stuff, and I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, and we're back. You still there, Warfarin? So I think when you originally subscribed, you subscribed with a Prime subscription, and Amazon are a big bunch of bag of dicks, and you actually have to physically renew every single month with Prime. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm subscribed," and it just stays that way. I think I'm assuming that they decided that there were way too many Amazon accounts out there, and if you could just contact every single random person that you ever talked to and said, "Hey, subscribe to me," and then they're just permanent subscribers and they're having to pay you, they don't want to do that. So they put it on you. If you do the paid subscription, the one where you actually pay $6 a month, that one auto renews because they're getting money for it. But the Prime version of it, you have to physically go in and renew it, and they give you like a grace period because you can't renew it early. And then once your subscription ends, you have a grace period where you can renew it, where you don't lose, like we were talking about that earlier today, where like you get bonuses for for being a subscriber for X amount of time, like you did that. You've been a subscriber for 3 months or 6 months or whatever, so you keep your streak going as long as you renew during that window. And I don't know how long the window is. It's like 7 or 10 days or something like that, from what I was reading about. But yeah, the Prime subscriptions are not beneficial for the subscribers. Actually, I guess at the end of the day, they're not super beneficial for anyone. It's annoying for the people wanting to sub, and it's annoying for the people that are that are doing the content. I'm surprised it didn't pop up and do anything, because Joe just had to do it himself just recently. Yeah, we get stuff for the Prime sub. We get the same thing regardless of what the sub is. If it's a Prime sub or if it's an actual paid sub, we still get the we get, like, I think it's like around $2, $2.50. There it goes. Yeah, thanks for the sub. But yeah, it's I think when you're an affiliate, you get somewhere around $2.50 out of the $6 sub, and then once you become a partner, it's like $3.50 per sub. But you don't get all of it. Amazon takes a portion of it. But when you're using the Prime version of it, they get all of the money from your Prime subscription. They get to keep the whole $6 if you're just not using the subscription. So of course they're not going to make it easy where you can just be like, oh yeah, give this to this person, and that's just always where I want it to be. So it's really, really dumb. But I know like Matisse subbed to me, for example, and he does not. I'm assuming he doesn't have Prime because he actually did a paid sub. So his just auto renews and he doesn't have to worry about it, regularly, which I think it's kind of scummy on Amazon's behalf. It's like, why do you give auto renew to the people when you're getting money, but then when you're keeping all of the money, you make it difficult on everyone involved. It's like the amount of money that Amazon's making. That's one of those quality of life things that they should just enable. Or even if they went as far as to just enable it, like, oh, I want to sub to this person for like 6 months. It's like do 6 months and then I'll renew again 6 months later. Because I'm sure they don't want to get into that concept of like, oh, well, you're just perpetually sub to this person forever, even if you just never come back to Twitch again. Like, I kind of understand that concept, but yeah, they definitely make it difficult on people all the way around. Because yeah, I had gotten up to like 20 subs or something like that, and then now I'm at 10, because of the number of them that have expired, but people haven't come back to renew them. And the sad part about it is they probably just don't know, because several of the people that haven't renewed are all people that I know. You know, like, so it's like they would just do it. They just don't even know that it's expired. I'd been meaning to make a post about it in the Discord so that people would know that that was the case, because I don't think anyone knew it. I didn't actually even know it worked that way until the first sub came up due, and they started falling off, and I'm like, why are all my subs falling off? And I started researching it, and they were like, oh yeah, those don't auto refresh. So it's a little unfortunate about Glitchwalker. It'll probably take me a day or so to get to the Glitchwalker content, because I didn't know that they were going to lock it behind completing the main story in this game. And where I had rebuilt my system just before I started streaming, I completely wiped the hard drives and everything, so I don't have any old save files at all for this game. Like, for whatever reason, Steam doesn't even have them. So I can't even like pull in old save files, so I'm having to start from scratch, which is kind of crappy. So a little disappointed about that, but I mean, the game's fun, so I mean, it's not like it's going to be a pain to play it or anything. But I'll be interested to see if I'll actually be able to get to it before Stalker 2 comes out, because that is definitely a game that I'm looking forward to playing, which I'll be playing next Wednesday. So. But yeah, since I've played this stuff before, I'm hoping I can kind of run through a lot of this really quickly, and I will play a lot of this in the background as well, off stream, to just kind of get it caught up. Because I think it's kind of lame to be like, oh yeah, I'm totally gonna play Glitchwalker, and then people come to watch it, and it's like, it's actually just base game for the moment. So I'll probably try to push a lot of the content tonight, so maybe I'll be able to actually get into Glitchwalker stuff tomorrow. You mean the streams in general, Nell? I definitely think that I've already kind of grown a little bit with the streaming. Like, it feels more comfortable to just kind of sit here and talk about random stuff than it did the first couple of streams that I had run. Like, it's always been really weird to just talk for the sake of talking. Like, you know, I don't normally sit around inside of my house and just talk to myself. And, you know, sometimes like one of the big things that they always say about streaming is don't pay attention to the number of viewers, because I actually have a thing on here where it'll tell me how many viewers are watching me at a moment. The unfortunate thing is that it's very delayed. So by the time it updates and tells me that someone, like, that I have an additional viewer than what I did 5 minutes ago, that viewer could have already jumped in, decided that they weren't interested in what I was doing, and left. So they're not even here. And then the viewer count will tick up, and it'll stay that way for like 15 or 20 minutes. So, you know, sometimes it looks like there's a whole bunch of people in here watching, and then I'll actually go in and look in the channel, and see there's just no one there. So it's like I'm just sitting here talking to myself. Yeah, they are doing player housing. That was part of the thing announced. It is only for retail. It's not for classic. But yeah, that was they kind of teased it, but yeah. Well, EverQuest 2 did player housing so well. I mean, they did it so much better than, like, in my opinion, even to this day, I don't know if there are like many places that do player housing well. Because the way that EverQuest 2 did it was you had tons of things that you would go and collect from stages that were essentially like rare drops and stuff. So everything that you had in your house was essentially a testament to the things that you had done in the game. Yeah, you know, so you could get all kinds of really cool things in your house, and it's like, oh yeah, I went to this zone and killed this rare, you know, like this rare boss, and this thing dropped, and I was the one that got it. You know, like it was kind of like almost a collection of trophies. And you know, there were some things that you could buy and just kind of fill the place with, but like I remember Warfarin went nuts with all the music boxes and stuff. Like he just wanted to be completely immersed in EverQuest 1 music. So he had like the old he had the music box that played Greater Fate Arc music from back in the day. Where did? Oh, it's over here. So basically, for some of you guys that may be a little new to Astroneer in general, I essentially am going around and collecting materials in order to be able to craft things. So I'm down in here. I think what I'm getting currently is iron. I believe is the first metal that you really get access to. Getting here. Oh no, it's aluminum. Sorry. Yeah, Kelethan was the Greater Fate Arc music. That was the city in Greater Fate Arc. I'm pretty sure the music was the same everywhere in there. EverQuest was also one of those games where it didn't necessarily always play the music, like it wasn't on just like repeat. I think there was a trigger for it when you went into the town where it would automatically start playing it, but I believe if you were just in the zone fighting, it would eventually load up and play in there as well. I remember so many times of people dying to the lifts in that game. They'd be up in the inside of the city, and somebody down on the bottom would hit the button for the lift to come down, and the person at the top would be like running along thinking the lift was just going to sit there and wait on them, and they'd go to get on it and it would start moving, and then it moved so fast that they would fall at basically the same speed as it, hit the ground and die. Yeah. Could you imagine, like, it's really funny some of the stuff that we put up with back in the day, and, you know, like, could you imagine what WoW would have been like if it would have come out and had those kinds of problems from day one? I mean, like, I think people, like, seriously would have just, like, lost their shit. No, I mean, in the original EverQuest, it was definitely kind of the charm of it, but I don't think people would agree with that today. Like the standard gamer from today, it would just like like shit game is shit, and then they would move on. I guess there's still a little metal up in here. Kind of hard to find the metal in here sometimes. It just like gets buried into the side, and it's like, well, you'll go for a little while of harvesting and you don't get any, and then you'll hit like another vein of it. Look, it's kind of funny, but playing this game is actually good practice for making a world in Unreal Engine. There's a lot of you know, like if you're sculpting land or something like that, it's done very similar to this. All right, that should be enough metal for a bit. They have like, are these pumpkins? Yeah. So they're doing their little festive thing, and each one of these tethers has a little tiny gourd on top of it. I'm assuming it's supposed to be a little pumpkin. It's odd that they're like multicolored, but at first I thought that it was some sort of like a Christmas decoration, because of course the instant that Halloween ended, people started putting up Christmas decorations. I think we're actually on a conflicted road. I think there's like one group of people that still have their Halloween decorations up, and then everyone else has like Christmas decorations, and then one person in our neighborhood has Thanksgiving decorations. They have a bunch of like blow up turkeys and stuff. They're really getting into their holidays. So yeah, it's a little expensive to buy or to build storage at the beginning of the game. So generally I just dig a little pit like this, and then you can just throw all of your materials into it for the time being, because they do randomly roll sometimes. So if you just lay them out on the flat ground, they'll just take off on you. Some of them won't, like where this one was laying flat, it probably wouldn't move, but if it flopped over onto its side, that would become a problem. There was a really big problem with the game. It looks like they fixed it at this point, but in the early day, doing this would actually cause the game to completely freak out, because you would have all of these things in here, and when they're piled together, you will have one that moves and it'll cause another one to move, and it would just create this chain reaction that would lead back around to the first one, that would then just, it was like a perpetual motion machine, essentially. It's like once you dropped one thing into the pile, it aggravated something that would aggravate something else, that would just keep going into a circle until it aggravated the first thing again, and it would eventually, all of this stuff in here would just start like convulsing around, and then it would all just like fly out in a big explosion, and all of your stuff would just like kind of go in all kinds of different directions, just because of the energy that was building up inside of the system. But it appears that they have fixed it, because it would do it with a much smaller pile than what is in here right now. All right, so let's see what we can start. I got a bunch of materials here, so let's see if we can actually start progressing the game a little bit. Yeah, we finish that. So I need to grab 1 more compound and 3 more resin. So that should be fairly simple, hopefully. So yeah, Warframe, this would probably be a game that you would actually get into pretty well. It's got a lot of, it hits a lot of the buttons. Oh, where is all the compound? I wonder if I just got a bad randomly generated world, or I was just put in a weird spot, or what. Oh, hey, look. It's a rare sighting of a chasm. What's going on, Kaz? I got a new game you need to play, Kazram. You need to play Sengoku Dynasty. Yeah, go big or go home, right, Warfrin? What is this? Huh. Like you have 10,000 points. Yeah, like I've gotten crazy addicted to it. I'm actually kind of disappointed that they ended up making this game where you have to beat the story before you can really do the new content. Because I was looking very much forward to just going straight back to that game once I finished this tonight. But now I'll have to play this as well. Or I'll have to play this instead, I should say, because I gotta get caught up to the point of. Oh, these are all good. So these used to be things that you could. Oh no, that's never mind. But yeah, I was a little disappointed in that fact because I've been having a really good time with the game. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot slower than other survival games, but it was very entertaining. And it will last for a long time. Maybe you shouldn't get it because it's going to require a lot more playtime than what you usually have to devote to just a single game. Did you watch the 30th anniversary thing for Blizzard today, Cass? Yeah. You ready to throw the guild back together like Joe was saying and do another run of classic? Classic. Well, they did already officially announce that that they will be doing TBC. So I was like, well, if I played it, I would just start at the beginning, so I would have all the shit, you know. But they'd have to make some pretty significant changes before I'd be willing to play through another version of WoW. They would have to give us flex rating at an absolute minimum. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually mildly interested in playing some SOD now that they're actually talking about doing new content. Because they announced, I guess, what did you see what the other zone was that they were doing? So they're going to basically be doing, they're doing something at Deadwind Pass, which the assumption is like Kirazan Catacombs or whatever. But they said another zone as well, and they actually said the name of that one, but I didn't catch the name of it, or I don't remember the name of it. Oh, the Scarlet, yeah. So they're doing this the Scarlet Monastery raid. Yeah, that was it. Ah. Yeah, that'll be. It's definitely a win for some people for sure. I really wish they would have just done that with a base version of Classic and not SOD. But I mean, I guess at the end of the day, my argument about about WoW, further on has been the fact of how long the raids take and stuff like that, and SOD does a really good job at kind of like cleaning that up. I do miss tanking. Tanking was a lot of fun. Oh, there's some more. Okay. Just gotta keep coming this way. What do you think about the announcement of player housing for retail after 20 years? Yeah, once they start adding $90 furniture to the game, yeah, they'll make a whole lot of money. I definitely lost a lot of respect for Blizzard after the addition of that mount. Yeah, tanking was definitely a lot of fun in the game, but I still think having highly skilled healers is what makes or breaks a good raid team. That was always the problem that we had, was trying to keep healers, and healing in that game is so boring. All right, so that got all of the one thing we needed. Yeah, like healing was always just like it's boring to play, and then if your raid team isn't great, it's very stressful. And it's like, it's one of those things, it's like, how can a thing be both boring and stressful at the same time? Oh, whoops. There we go. Yeah, I remember you were pretty big into healing for especially for like Sunwell and stuff. Yeah, I remember you bounced around a lot back then, but it seemed like every week we were having to have you play something else. Oh, interesting. Oh, excuse me. All right. Got ourselves some tables now. This thing actually connects to the main building. That break. Really? annoying. All right. All right. What did I need for medium printer? I need 2 compound. Things only running at half efficiency. I need to get out and start looking for some other sources of power. Or science. We get out of this. More platforms. Yay. I get like a rover at some point here. Yeah, DPS and healing are very similar when it comes to that game as far as performance goes. Search chamber. Generator. The small generators off of the here, isn't it? Can I not rent the research chamber yet? Oh no, it's probably off the medium one. Resident 2 compound. Same. That thing still is not running at full capacity. Need to hurry up and get a rover so I can drive around and look for stuff. that battery to charge up before I turn this on. Go. Good for those. Splitter. Oh, yeah. Some beacons. So I can find my way home. Their concept for beacons are actually pretty neat. So when you're close to it, the beacon is kind of small and fairly close to the ground, but as you move away, it goes higher into the sky and gets bigger. So makes it really easy to find your way back when you get out and get in the middle of somewhere and get lost. Because, you know, that would never happen to me. I don't know what you're talking about. Alright, so that wants me to get 2,000 research. I still need to make a smelter. Now there's some lithium, which I actually already did. But I don't think it's giving me credit for it. Somewhere down at the bottom of this pile of crap. We'll get back to that. Actually, I think there was some more exposed out over here somewhere. Yeah, we'll get back to it in a minute. See if I can get a rover up and going. Oh, can I not get a rover yet? Well, the rover was actually fairly small. Not created with this. You know. Extender, worms. There we go. Tractor. Good enough. And some trailers. Get those to you. So that is the medium printer. Isn't it? No, they lied. It is not the medium printer. It needs 2 aluminum, which I don't have yet because I need smelter. Not make the smelter from the beginning, or is it on the small one? No? Maybe it's a large one actually. Melting furnace, all right. compound at such a ridiculous rate in this game for me to not have better access to it than what I have over here. It's crazy. So if you're new to the game and unfamiliar with how it works, when you're looking at the side of essentially any platform that can be connected to power, you'll see these little yellow markers around the cables, and they don't fill completely up. It stops right about there. It can be a little hard to see, but that's how much power you have currently based on the number of things that you have running. So you essentially want that to always be full, and if it starts to drop for any reason, like you just saw it drop to half there, that slows down the speed of everything in your that's hooked up to that power system. So basically everything is running at half speed right now, and the main reason behind that, the reason that it changed, is because I have one wind turbine here for generating power, and the wind quit, and that's why the power dropped. And so you can kind of solve the problem by disabling things. So the draw from the printer stops, so now it's at full capacity. So now the capacity is just going into this battery, which will help keep things running. Actually, I need a table to put that on as well. This large platform. Yeah, we'll do that one. Re-resin. Like one of those things, like at first, a lot of the compounds and stuff are kind of hard to come by. And then after a while, it's just, you just have so much of this stuff, you don't know what to do with it. So they've actually added quite a few new things to the game, so I'm looking forward to seeing what some of that stuff is like. Unfortunately, most of the devices that you create have to be put on a table in order to function, because that's how they get their power draw, is by being hooked up to the table. And so yeah, like my smelter here won't do anything until I have a table to put it on. Though technically I could just pull that research station off there and put it on this table, and now it's ready to go. But as you can see, it's going to have a significant amount of draw there, and it's going to really slow down everything. But I'll go ahead and grab some stuff and get it set up. So they did, when the game first came out, there was no automation in the game at all. Oh, wait a minute, that was not what I wanted. They had no automation in the game whatsoever when it first came out, and so you had to like manually change basically everything. Like the closest you could get to automation was if you had this table here, I can set things on this table, and then it would automatically, if I see, oh wait, that's a large printer. That was not what I wanted. Printed that by mistake. Melting furnace, compound 2 resin. All right, there's the smelter. Yeah, I'll get back to that description in just a moment. Turns out I don't really need that right now. You can craft a bunch of these things like the, oh shit. That thing launched. What the hell? So for whatever their infinite wisdom, they made it to where you walk slow when you're carrying an item, but you can just drop it and then run fast and then pick it up and sling it and drop it. And it's like, why not just allow people to walk at full speed? Why is this necessary? But you can build these turbines and things like that fairly early on. Like I think I can already build the base solar panel and the base wind turbine. But you find so many of them when you're out exploring that it's just really not, like, why waste the materials? So yeah, as you can see, if you take a metal and then drop it on here, it'll automatically feed into the right spot. So you can fill up these 4 spots here and then fill up the table, except 1 slot. Because when this thing starts up, it pulls one of these up here and starts crafting an aluminum, and then once that fully crafts, it'll stick it in this empty slot here. So if you don't have the empty slot, that won't go anywhere. Unless they have updated it to work slightly better, but my guess is probably not. But yeah, basically this aluminum will drop down into this slot, and then one of these laterite will pop into the spot where this previous one was at, and then it'll start cooking another one. So yeah. So yeah, that gave us something new. Got another beat in there. Figure out what to do with that thing. What did this give us? Nothing. Oh, medium storage. Yeah, medium storage would actually be good for here. That opens up a lot more slots on it. And then go get the rest of the metal out of the hole over here and put it all on there. That's all of it. A bunch of quartz here. I picked up a whole bunch of it when I was down below because it's usually kind of hard to find at first, and then it's going to be a little while before I can actually use it for anything. So shows an easier way to transfer to a table. But yeah, you can build automation arms and stuff like that later on, so that when you drive a vehicle out and pick up a bunch of stuff and then bring it back, you can kind of pull it into a docking bay, and then it will unload the vehicle for you and move all the stuff around into wherever you want them done. I actually never got into doing that because they came out with that expansion or that update so much later after I had already finished the game. That's right, it's a small one. Just need 2 aluminum for that, so I should have that already. What's it wanted me to do? Print a small shuttle. Even have access to the small shuttle yet? That's the real question. Oh, was it? Maybe I. It's a medium printer. So there's the fuel. Oh, they added a winch. That's cool. Haven't seen that yet. Yeah, these RTGs are really nice. They're just like a constant power source. I think it gives 4 power, I believe, for each one of them. But they require some pretty high-end components to be able to build them. You can get small versions of them. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Is I'm trying to figure out where the small ship is. You already have access to it. May have to be done on the large one. Yeah, look hard. No, shelter is the only thing I can do there. Alright, so I got the little vehicle there. Can actually pop off the battery, the front, and then put wind turbine on there, and well, it was going. Started up for just a moment, and then the wind quit. But yeah. Where are the ships? Okay, landing pad. Oh, there we go. Small shuttle. So we need 1,500 to unlock that. So I'm gonna have to do some more research before I can get that done. This is actually about done with all the metal already, so that's not too bad. So I'll switch out the research station. It looks like we're finally getting a little power back here, so what do I need for a trailer? Aluminum 1 compound. Man, that power is so low right now. But yeah, once we get this this trailer made, I'll be able to get these things hooked up together and actually go out and try to find some more power sources. And whoa, what is going on with this thing? Must have been a weird spot where it unpacked it. It was kind of like partially underground, caused it to flip over. We'll throw this back in the main power supply here until this gets finished cooking, so this will go a little faster. There we go. And I think this will fit on here. Yeah. This thing also supplies oxygen, so we're good to go there. All right, finally mobile. That only took like an hour and a half. I did run down and collect up a whole bunch of crap before that though, so. Oh, and look, now that I don't need it, compound and resin literally right next to each other. That bastard. Let's see, what was this? I forget. Graphite. get at least one piece of graphite finished just so I'll have it. Maybe I'm not gonna find enough here. Sucks. Oh wait, there's some more. Oh, come on, finish one freaking thing of graphite. Such a pain in the ass. Yeah, got one done. So if I end up needing that for something later, I've got it. I'm basically looking for like little car wrecks and stuff. There you'll find debris and stuff like that laying around, like broken up tables and stuff, and a lot of times they'll have stuff on them. This thing here. This one's got some free tethers here that I can just grab if it's nice. Then we got a backpack here with curiosity item. That's right. This is a thing that makes all these like weird curious items. It makes like that weird graphic effect in the background. I forget what those do. They were part of a little kind of expansion that came out a while back. At some point later on, I can actually come back and pick up all this stuff and turn it into recyclable items and ship them off for resources, but no point in picking it up now because I can't actually use any of it yet. Wait a minute. What's the other stuff that I needed? No, this is clay. A thing of clay for when we need that. Oh, there's the table. Good on it, around it. Now there's a busted up medium-sized solar panel on it that would have been nice to have had. Oh look, graphite everywhere. Funny how that works. You heading out there, Warfred? We'll catch you later on. Hey Kaz, you still in here? Yep. How's the raiding been going over there lately? I'd meant to ask Matisti the next time I saw him, but are you guys still clearing stuff fairly well? guess at the end of the day, I don't really have to clean out these towers too awful much, but or not towers, but these objects. But for whatever reason, I just like to clean them off. I think you only have to clean off like the middle area. I'm not even sure if you have to do that. Oh, so you guys actually do have 2 full teams running well now? That's good. I was thinking Matiste had said that things were going fairly well recently. Man, they have really like reduced the amount of debris and stuff that used to be around all over the place. You'd find broken down stuff everywhere. Oh, that's nice. So do they like separate I'm assuming that was based off of like Warcraft logs. Are they separating the times based on whether or not you're a flex raid? Oh, okay. So does flex go below? Wow, I'm actually kind of surprised about that. So they actually have it designed where the stuff can be beat with only 20 people? Oh, gotcha, okay. So I'm guessing all the groups that are trying to be a little more hardcore are running with only 20 people. Yeah. When is their next phase launching? I think Bloody was saying that the next phase for, what was it, AQ40 is supposed to be launching fairly soon. Do they have a date for it? Oh, like 2 weeks? That's not too bad. But you guys are going to have to do the gate opening ceremony, so you won't necessarily have access to the raid content at that point. Oh, nice. Yeah, 3 weeks is not too bad. There'll be so many Scarab Lords that won't even be remotely close to being rare anymore. Are you going after one? They made it easier? Oh, they made it easier and you're not going after one? What's wrong with you? What did they do to make it easier? They just reduced the amount of like the scales that you needed to get, or whatever the hell those things were, shells, carapace, something along those lines. Another salvage thing finally. Nothing on it. Oh, this is bad. A terrible starting world. I may just end up having to go back and craft some stuff, some solar panels and crap, because I am not finding anything out here. This is awful. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Something. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be crazy. I definitely remember the old school day where it was the rep that you got was you got 1 rep per kill. That's it. Nothing else. So what's the best tank in the game now? Is it going back to warrior, or are paladins doing pretty well? Or is the reign of the druid tank finally taken off. Paladins are really strong. That's funny. Like, I always hated that class too. That ret tanking build that they had early on was pretty fun. I like that fairly well. You know, I wish they would have made these little things like, it's nice getting that scan, getting the points for that, but there's just so many of them. You just like have to stop constantly to get off and grab them. I wish they would have just made them like a third as frequent and triple the points. Can the excuse me, can the paladins use the Thunder Fury? Can't remember if that was the thing they could use or not. I don't think anybody really used them as tanks in the early days. They can? That's nice. I wonder how long that weapon will be a big deal in that version of the game, because I know with like warrior tanks and stuff, a lot of them would keep it through a huge portion of Burning Crusade, just because of the proc on it. Oh, look at this. There's a big salvage place. Maybe I'll find something good here. Oh. There is a nice wind turbine. That to the front. Some batteries, like personal batteries, those are crap. Got some copper. Don't see much of that. Oh, there's another turbine up there, but I can't carry it. Shit. Set it there for now, and I'll have to take this one back and then come back and get that one. Power extenders. Nothing else great here, but 2 wind turbines is pretty sweet. Do you guys run both of your raid teams on the same night, or do you just do separate nights for them? Different nights, yeah. It's not too bad. Yeah, I'm really surprised those raids are able to complete that quickly. Is Bloody Shot still doing Classic as well, or did he finally give up over there? Aluminum, one compound. We'll make another. Make another trailer. He's still doing cata raids? God. I don't understand how he keeps up with it. Like, it took so long for Firelands to come out. That was a mistake. Let's see. Ah. There we go. Good thing this tractor doesn't use much power. Interesting. I think they've actually changed what these obelisk things look like. They used to be different looking. Yeah, it looks like YouTube's having problems again where it keeps disconnecting and reconnecting to chat over and over. This game did, Kaz? I didn't have a whole lot of problems with lag when playing it. I wonder if it was just like a host computer thing or potentially like an internet problem or something. Because I actually played this with somebody else that was playing on the Xbox before, and I was running host and we didn't have any lag issues. It's a fun game, and you should come and play because there's tedious automation work that I'm sure you would love doing that I don't want to do. Yeah, it could have also even just been a bad build of the game at some point. I've played it off and on several different times, and sometimes it does well and sometimes it doesn't. As far as, you know, everything working really well and having zero bugs anyways. I do not remember for the life of me what these curious items are supposed to be used for, but I'm sure I'll want them for something. We get a free rover seat. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, the game's been really good, just in general playing it previously, and then the expansion just hit today as well, so looking forward to getting into that content. Oh man, I should have brought that explosive with me. Think about grabbing that when I was back over there. Can I go get it real quick? Figure out where those ruins went. Thinking they were a little closer than this, but I am clearly mistaken. There they are. There it is. All right. Looks like a good little place to stop and take a small break, so I'm gonna run, grab a drink and do my stuff, and I will be back in just a couple of minutes. And while we're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and set this up to do a run of commercials so that people can get in without pre-roll ads. So I'll be back in 2 to 3 minutes. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. All right, so we got our explosive. Head back over to that box. Not a big fan of how they added these boxes and then made explosives the only way you could get into them, because previously explosives didn't have a whole lot of use, and they're really annoying to make. And I mean, I think that's why people didn't bother with using it much. Oh, hey. There's a small wind turbine here. Alright, so this world's starting to not be quite as bad as I thought it was. We've gotten 2 medium turbines and 2 small ones. And a small solar panel now. Now if I can just figure out how to get back to where that box was. Pretty sure it was along this forest here. I just went a different way to get to it that was less hilly last time. It's just right up here around these trees. Or maybe not. Well, that's what I get for not having the explosive with me the first time. A wreck over here, good on it. To find another battery out here would be pretty nice. Ah. Come on. How did it get around this thing to begin with? Like I just came the long way this time. One bridge, good to go. Distance away from this thing, so I don't want to blow up on me. There we have it. 2 exochips. Those will be used for research a little later on. I put that stuff on the smelter. All right, pretty loaded up here. Probably should take this back and see what all kinds of stuff I can start crafting now. And yeah, it looks like my starting area was just bad. There's a lot of other components out here. Oh, look at that. Weird. Gravity globe. Cool concept. Get around fast, can't carry shit. Too far from the home base at this point. I think I can see the beacons from this structure over here. Yeah, there it is. Behind the clouds. So yeah, for those of you watching, I'll be playing this game for the next 4 days or so, and then we start up next week's stuff. I'll be moving on into Stalker 2. Actually, really looking forward to playing that one. Gotten to play a good first-person shooter in a while. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about playing it. I hope it doesn't turn out to be another another Once Human. I got really psyched up to play Once Human, and it just ended up being not a good game, unfortunately. Well, you played Once Human, so you knew, you know what happened. It was unfortunate that it didn't end up doing any better than what it did. I was expecting a lot more out of that game, but it is what it is. Alright, what kind of quest can we... Oh, it's gonna give me another free trailer. Cool. It's in the distance. Some bites. 3 containers with a tethers. That's pretty nice. Globe trotting. tooling. Unlock, print, and attach boost mod terrain tool. Worried about that one right there. Auto arm. Not worried about that right now either. Exo Research Aid Unit. What the hell is that? Still need to print the shuttle so I can get that RTG, which I really want. I have access to tungsten on this planet. Oh, there we go. This just says unlock this stuff. Oxygen tank, power cells, glow sticks, and dynamite. Oh Jesus, that thing costs 2,000. Alright, let's get oh, I never started this thing back up. I got like a minute left on that. Glow sticks, those are only 350 at least. What else was it to do? Power cells and dynamite. Power cells are 800. Dynamite there's 3750, so don't have enough for that yet, unfortunately. But hey, once I get it, that power generator to power up pretty nicely will be good to have. Start suffocating soon. Need to get back. All right, so I got an extra free trailer over here. Research, yes it did. What, 450? Not too bad. It's gonna take it 11 minutes, Jesus. Alright, well, got a bunch of free tethers. Oh, interesting. A leveling block, you say? Well, it's always been one of the biggest complaints about this game is being able to to get something that was both flat and in the general direction of the planet. And because these planets are so small, the curvature is pretty crazy on them. So it gets kind of weird if you're trying to build like a big base and you want everything to be perfectly flat. I'll be interested to see what they've done with this. Oh, I don't remember what the packager is. I don't need that right now. I won't need it at all, really. Basically, the packager will just repackage something that was in a box. It'll put it back in a box, but not really useful, to be honest. What was the other thing that gave an RT? Shuttle, that's right. And a shuttle. I had the ability to purchase that yet, did I? No. Large resource canister. Small shuttles, 1,500. Only takes 2 aluminum. Alright, maybe time to go down and grab some more stuff from down below while we're waiting on research points here. Ah, not what I meant to do, but whatever. I made it collect like 3 of these for one of the quests, yeah. There we go. One more little quest complete. Go down here and see if we can find some more aluminum while we're waiting. About this way. Really? over this way and explore a little bit more. Allergies are not playing nice today. Some random resources off of the containers and stuff over here. Oh, there's some metal, I think. Yeah, there's all kinds of it over here. I wish they had a better way for extracting this stuff out of the caves and things like that. Like, having to come down in here and get like 10 pieces of a material and then run all the way back out is really annoying. Know what I have that direction over there for anymore. Should probably close up. Hey, I got a couple more, a couple hundred research points while I was down here, so I should be able to get the small shuttle a little sooner. Salvage. Actually, I didn't even think to look at that other rover seat to see if it was intact or just salvage. I think it's just salvage. Yeah, it's torn all to pieces. The waste to bring it back over here. Alright, well, we were down there long enough for it to do that, so. That off there. Some more metal cooking. Actually see that one up there. Okay. Dump all this stuff back in my hole over here. I wish they made the storage stuff a lot cheaper to make in the early games. You just Collects so much crap. There's just nowhere to put it. Yeah, can I do that small shuttle yet? Yes, I can. 5,000 for the large rover. Oh, those take 2 exo chips as well. That's so ridiculous. Small for that one. One small shuttle. Holy crap. No power. On wind. Moment, I can throw this battery on here, make it a little faster. That's doing almost nothing. Oh, the wind took off. There we go. We're almost full power. Definitely getting that done a lot faster. Oh crap. The wind stopped already. Ridiculous. If it was even daylight, I have 1 solar panel that I could use, but it's not even daylight. If I could throw a plant on this generator here and help out some. There goes the wind again. Also nice that that thing finished, so almost done. There we go. Love how you build this here now, and then when you complete the quests, it still kicks things down on top of it. Strange, alright. This one I always wanted. No, oh, it's an oxygenator. Got some zinc on it. Not terrible, I suppose. But need to get this thing some power or something. Power cells are really not that impressive in my opinion. Yeah. Wants me to get power to it, so guess I can pull like the small wind turbines and stuff over here to connect to power. To that. It has power now. Sounds bad. Alrighty then. Carnival Space Cruise. Interesting. Snail data, huh? Oh, is this the thing where they added the pets? Is that what this is? I think that's what's going on here. And I got all this crap in my nice building area. Completely unnecessary. All right. So I built a small shuttle. I'm not understanding what's going on with that. Solid thruster. Actually, even have access to those. So. The biggest thing I hate about doing this is trying to figure out where some of this stuff is. Like, I need like a search for this. Solid fuel thruster. Plus 500. Sure, why not? Ammonium. Sure, I got some of that over here. Hiding somewhere. There. That's it for that. So I need more things to put on the research table here, I think. Just need the oxygenator. Actually, it wants me to print one though. Probably another thing I'm gonna have to research. Oh no, I already have it. Minimum ceramic, which I think you get ceramic from smelting clay. Yeah. Right. That's completing nice and fast, at least. Field shelter. That right now. This thing doesn't even have any storage on it at all. Yeah, okay. Alright. That does that. Take this downstairs and see if I can power any of those things that are down below. A couple of different little canisters down there. So. Up on up here. Want to go this way and do because there's nothing here. So that one wants a material put on it. That one wants power. There we go. 487 there. Take it. Yeah, this one's going to want a certain power number, and this probably isn't going to be enough. But we'll check and see. Nope. Playing too many other games, and I keep hitting like 1 through 3 trying to get it to pull out different tools and stuff, and it doesn't work for this game. Those are all emotes. Crap, go away. Oh, wow, don't even have any rich things that suck. Go ahead and these things destroyed, so I don't have to worry about them causing me problems later. Out of here. Notice one nice big chunk of research there to get some better, at least the medium-sized ship, so that I can take supplies with me when I go instead of just a couple of little resources. I want to be able to take like packaged up stuff, so I don't have to try to recreate it over there. But yeah, considering the fact that I didn't actually get to start the stuff for Glitchwalker tonight because I had to have a previous save file, I think this has gone fairly well. But like I said, I'll continue to play this off stream. I'll put a couple hours into it tonight, see if I can, how much closer to Glitchwalker stuff I can actually get to, because yeah, it's kind of sad with that, intending that for that to be the point of what I was streaming for the evening, and then it's not there. So I will make some more progress on this tonight and some tomorrow before stream, and then hopefully we'll be a lot closer, if not almost completely there. I should be able to push pretty well and get some time into this. But I think I'm gonna call the stream there for the night, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. So see you guys around the same time if you're coming back to check out the stuff, and if not, then I'll see you next time I see you. But everybody have a great evening.